Your opinion, and that's what this would be, just your opinion. I mean, I don't know. You worked in the office, maybe you know. Why do you think Randy never went back to the WWE? Like after WCW went down, everybody went back. I mean, everybody. And Randy never did. Like after he left Vince the first time, that was it. And there's been lots of silly speculation over the years, but what say you? Why do you think Randy never mended fences with the WWE and went back?
There, you talk about a story behind the story behind the story. I have no idea because when you look at the golden era, just when you kind of look at where things, how you can monetize different things, the Macho Man and the glasses and the merch and the psychedelic and the tie dye and all the different things and the way Randy could have been monetized. There's obviously much more to the story than meets the eye. I am not qualified to answer that at all because I truly don't know. But when I think of all the opportunities that have not been seized upon since 2001 or whatever it may be, um, kind of we don't know. I mean, we obviously don't know because think about the money that a publicly traded company could have been making. I mean, when you think about the Hogan merch and the Warrior and just all the different merch items through the years, we're talking millions. And it was never, the door was never opened. Was that a Randy deal or a WWE deal or both? I'm asking, do you know? Because I don't have a clue, but I've wondered that many, many times.
Well, I'm sure you heard the silly rumor.
Yes.
When do you remember first hearing that? Is that in the last like 20 years, or were you hearing it even when he was active in the business?
Oh, no, no. Yeah, but I'd say for sure. Would I say 10? No, two. No, okay. Last 20 years. Yeah, I'll say that.
So not while you guys were in WCW together.
Heck no.
Yeah, I mean that's why I think it's nonsense. But what do you think his legacy in the business is going to be? I mean, when I talked to Jim Hurd several years ago at the very start of the pandemic, we did a whole conversations with Conrad for adfreeshows.com, and he was pretty straight up and saying one of the first things he tried to do when he took over WCW was sign Randy Savage. He felt like he couldn't land Hulk Hogan, but he thought kids would love Randy Savage, and he even did a Macho Man impression. But he said kids love to do that. It's just a part of pop culture, and he felt like Randy Savage could have blown the roof off of WCW and been a real competitor for Hulk Hogan in the WWF. We know it didn't happen for Hurt, and by the time he did come, even when he was figured in as the top guy, it never felt like he achieved the same success in WCW that he did in the WWF. I'm curious, what do you think his legacy will wind up being? Will it be the Hogan angle? Will it be as the Intercontinental Champion? Will it be, the Matt Classic at WrestleMania 3? Will it be Slim Jims? What do you think his legacy on wrestling is going to be?
God, coming from me, I may be jaded on it because I go back kind of to his entrepreneurial spirit and his father son relationship and him being a promoter at the same time as a talent. Um, but I think when you pull all the way back and not 30,000, but maybe kind of even 50 or 55,000 feet, he may be the first national or international star that bled into pop culture with a brand. The Slim Jim account, and I know slap into it and all that kind of stuff, we can have fun with it. But when you talk about a talent bringing a national account, and now there's Logan Paul and Prime, and there's with professional wrestling, sports entertainment, we have DraftKings and different things and Ric Flair's Woo Energy, and then you kind of look at all the sponsors and all this. But when you look at the era that Vince owned everything lock, stock, and barrel, that Slim Jim came onto the account, got Randy. He became that larger than life mega talent that was truly an influence. He influenced a brand to follow him. They weren't alignment with the WWF brand. They were in alignment with the Macho Man Randy Savage brand. And I think his legacy was that core IP that he created of the Macho Man Randy Savage was truly an IP he created that was not just larger than life. And I think that was kind of at the core too, maybe of him and Vince's falling out, or even WWE and him falling out. Is he was a big brand. The Macho Man brand is probably his legacy. I don't know, man. That's hard for me to put into words. You got anything? Just a snapshot of what you think his legacy would be?
I think you sort of nailed it in that he created his own IP that had value. I mean, how many people do we see leave the WWF and still have an endorsement deal?
Yeah.
Normally, a lot of those endorsement deals are just tied to, their presence on that promotion, but he took it with him. I mean, he didn't get it because of WWE. I think for better or worse, it's Slim Jims. I mean, you roll into any gas station here in America, and there's probably a package with his name and face on it right now.
Crazy.
And that means his family's probably cashing a check there. His estate is. So good for them. Let's do a few questions. Carl Hayes says, if Randy went to the NWA instead of the WWF, how do you think him versus Flair, the Horseman, and Sting could have compared to his WWF run versus Hulk, Steamboat, and Warrior?
No comparison. And I'm going back not to Randy's fault, not to Flair's fault, Horseman, Sting. The machine of creating episodic, larger than life, big money matches. In so many ways, you just think of the synonymous brand value of the Hulkster and Macho Man, and then plug in whatever heels you may want. It was in babyface. It was Randy was a huge part of creating sports entertainment. And I say, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just say that in that I think the professional wrestling was the word accurately used in the territories. And then when it went national, that's when Vince really tried to create that phrase sports entertainment. I still say to this day, it's the same thing. It was just done new in the mid 80s when Macho Man and Hulk and those guys exploded onto the scene.
Dan Anderson wants to know, was there ever an opportunity for Lanny in TNA, whether it was on camera or behind the scenes?
Nope. And there was never any interest shown on their part. And at that point, for the most part, I think Lanny was retired.
When Randy came in, did you try to get Slim Jim on board to advertise?
I am sure we had a conversation or two, but we didn't have the real estate for it. Or we weren't that kind of product. I wish we were at those stage, but no, we were not that kind of product.